Hello there. I am Scotty. You're not. And if you haven't figured it out or you didn't see Brandon's comment that spoiled it from my short, thanks, Brandon. Whatever. That's right, Ninja Turtles won the poll. I wanted to be cryptic, but he had to. Ninja Turtles. Thanks. That's my friend. Thanks. Anyway, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I wanted to revisit these movies for a while, but I didn't know when. There's I don't know when they're gonna make that the next chapter in the animated movie. I don't know. So I put it on the list with Batman, which got one vote, and with Final Destination, which got one vote, and then this one got 2 votes. No one voted for Superman, despite the fact that Superman probably should have been the one that I did, due to the new movie coming out this year, and I messed up and thought it came out next year, and then I saw the trailer and went, shit, should have done it this year. Whatever. I plan on getting a Superman 2 theatrical edition, and maybe I'll be able to knock it out, because I won't be able to review it for a while, so I can knock it out this summer, maybe. We shall see. But, yes. Yes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You see the background. Worked a little hard last night putting that together. Didn't want to do the green shirt like I've done before. I like that one. I've only got 2 of the Turtles, but I like it. So, yeah, I will be doing every theatrically released Turtles movie. That includes the 3 from the 90s, 2007's TMNT, the 2 Michael Bay produced ones, and the most recent Mutant Mayhem, which technically is only 2 years old, but why not revisit it to put it in this series? So I will not be doing direct-to-video fare such as Turtles Forever or Batman versus TMNT. No, those are not. No, just these for my sanity. Because I can revisit all the little crossover stuff that I did, but I'm not going to do it. Just the theatrical films. So we're talking about the original 1990 classic film. And I hate to say that. It's 35 years old this year. Oy. My heart, I think my back went out. Getting old, 35 years old. I wasn't 3 when this came out. 3 years old! Yes. 3 years old I was. Obviously I didn't see till I was a little bit older. I think 92, 93 at least. I was a Ninja Turtles kid. Ninja Turtles. I had, my grandma liked to transfer movies. She rent them and she transferred, because we couldn't always afford to buy them, So I had my VHS tapes when they were transferred, because she'd be doing that. So I had the first one. That's it. Not the second one or the third one. Just the first one. And I watched it all the time. And I had a bunch of the toys. I had like a bed sheet set thing, pillowcase, all that. I had posters, I think. I had the coming out of the shell store VHS from the Pizza Hut that my mom worked at the time. Yes. I had it all. I still have toys, as you could see back there. I tried to keep it up with the movies, so you have, except for the juice head things for the 2012 series, but I got the Super Shredder from 2, you got the 2 movie versions of Donatello, and Donatello's back there somewhere, and Michelangelo. I'm not wearing pants. I have my underwear on. I'll fix it so that Donatello is facing out. But then and you got Toka over there, and you have the Leonardo from the 2007 TMNT. And then I decided to put the background. We have representation of each of the TV series. We got the original 1987 series, 2003 series. We got the 1998 live action Next Mutation series had to have some representation rather, and the 2012 series, and then in the middle is what is the 5 movie set that has the original 3 and 2007 and Batman versus TMNT, but I upgraded it to a different case, and I added the 2 Michael Bay ones, so it's all the movies except for the new one. I did that before the new one came out, and if I could find how many is on there, so it's 2 on one disc, 2 on another. Batman vs. TMNT, then 2 more discs. There's 5 discs. If I could just find one with 6 discs, bada boom. But anyway, 6 minutes in, we're gonna talk about the movie now. The movie, it was and is always be my childhood. This was my childhood. It's one of those movies. It's like Bill and Ted to me. I put it on, and I'm instantly quoting every line. Ninja kicked the damn rabbit. Looked like sort of a huge turtle in a trench coat. New game. Cricket. Nobody understands cricket. You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. Hey, Leo, take it easy, will ya? Funny Mikey. You know, I know the lines. I'm quoting this movie the entire time. It is. So, yeah. This is going to be a little more depth, of course, with revisited reviews than the first ones I did, especially since those were, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I was doing the Batman and TMNT review series. Doing those back to back. Leading into Batman vs. TMNT, and then I took forever to get to that one. So, it didn't really work out. I wasn't in true form, but hey, some could say that hasn't changed. It'd take forever. When am I going to finish Quentin Tarantino again? I will, at some point. It's out there. It's out there. Somewhere. The rest of his filmography are godly long, except for maybe Death Proof. Anyway, we start the movie. We're going to start the movie. Alright? And before I even get to talking about anything else in this movie, something that 2019 or 2020 Scotty would not talk about, that's the musical score. The musical score by John Duprez, and I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, is just fantastic. I'm listening throughout this film, and just that dun 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 dun. That one, and there's another one that plays later. It hits you. It's, it works for what they're doing. So we get a montage. Gotta do it in a montage. Of various hoodlums stealing stuff while April O'Neil narrates about the thefts throughout. Well, couple things to note here. Shredder's just out in the open. Really? I mean, he's in an alleyway. He puts his hand out, but really? Like, it's always like stealing someone's wallet. A character who we'll be introduced to later is Danny does this. There's other criminals. I love how there's this black lady watching TV on her balcony for some reason. And she gets up to do something, and she comes back, and she's sitting here. And she's like, she turns for a minute to do something. A hoodlum comes up, steals the TV, and she turns around and she goes, huh? Like, what? Like, where'd it go? It's magic or something. But yeah, this is to establish the foot. And I know a lot of people have questioned this, and I kind of do too. I'm watching this movie. What is the purpose of the foot in this particular film? So we know from the cartoons and everything that they are foot soldiers, basically. They're ninjas. In the cartoon, they're robots, but they're trained to be ninjas, trained in a way of ninjutsu of the foot, And you got a bunch of kids just running around stealing shit, and then when you get to their hideout in the East Warehouse over Ladman Island, and Sam Rockwell is there, asking if they want regular or menthol. And you get there, it's like, what? They're smoking cigarettes, they're smoking cigars, they're playing pool, and they have all this stolen stuff that are just sitting in boxes. What is the point? What is Shredder doing? He has this speech later, and this is your family. I am your father. Okay, but it is never really any strict plan as to what he is doing. The only thing later is when he kidnaps Splinter and is going to go after the turtles. Because the turtles have thwarted him a couple times. So, yeah. I do like, though, that this movie doesn't open with credits. It just starts. And especially if you have the Blu-ray. Warner Brothers Blu-rays, at least archive titles, they just start playing. There's menus, but they're not real menus. They just start playing, right? So you put it in and it starts playing. You get that score, and it starts. It's April, on the TV. And just to talk about her for a minute, she's played by Judith Hogue. And if you like her performance in this film, you need to thank the late, great Robin Williams, because they're doing a movie called Cadillac Man, in which she has a mustache. He does, not her. In which he has a mustache. And they were working on a movie together, and he's a fan of the comics. Robin Williams, as I learned after he passed, he's nothing but a big nerd. He loves Legend of Zelda. He likes the Ninja Turtles comics. He was a nerd. And he was gave her some tips on how to play the character right, even if they didn't actually represent. Her hair's not that red. She's reddish brown, like my mom's hair used to be before she dyed it a million times. Same thing with my sisters. I struggled to. My sister's had her hair. She's only a 33, so today? I'm 38, right? Yeah, 33. She turned 33 this year, because we're 5 years apart. So I was right. Today is actually her birthday, so she turned 33 today. My mom's birthday is tomorrow. I know, that's weird, because I remember my sister was born the next day. They're bringing birthday stuff for my mom. I remember that. I do. And I was 5, so my memory sometimes works. I can't remember anything that happened 2 weeks ago, but if it happened 25 years ago, it's there. Even though some people say that I'm not right, but I don't know. But anyway, so, what was I saying? So yeah, apparently she's poking the bear too much with all this talk about the foot. And so, not only does this attract the Shredder, but also gets the ire of one Chief Stearns, played by Raymond Sierra, who I think he voices Raphael in this one, or the second one, or both. All of the in-suit performers show up at one point. One of them, I think it's Leonardo's in-suit performer, is the pizza delivery guy. Another one is the customer in the cab, Josh Pice. And then you have one of the foot soldiers that's Raphael's. One of the foot soldiers, I think Michelangelo's in-suit performer, and there's Donatello's in-suit performer, who was actually what's his name? He's in the second one. He's in Surf Ninjas. That guy. Or at least he did stunts for Donatello in this one. But yeah, we'll get to the voices in a minute. But yes, Chief Stearns, who is one of those guys who likes to yell, but we don't got to him yet. She is getting ready to leave, and she's in a yellow raincoat because April. They're not going to put her in the yellow leather jumpsuit. No, you get the yellow raincoat. Which, yeah, it makes sense, right? The tone of this movie has a mix of the cartoon show and the comics. They wanted to have it mixed together. And it works. It works. You get some of the comics from Michelangelo and the Turtles, and then you got some serious stuff, But the Foot Clan shows up, and I laughed at this. It's funny. It's not funny. It's funny. But he's like, I have a message for you, Miss O'Neill. And goes like this, and she looks in his hand like there's something there, and he just smacks her upside the face. Don't hit women. But it's just the way that it's executed. He's like, I have a message for you, Miss O'Neill. She's like, huh? I don't know. It made me laugh in the moment. I was getting something to drink out of the fridge and I saw that and I laughed. Don't hit women, but it made me laugh in the moment. I'm sorry. It got a giggle out of me. Sorry to say. And yeah, lo and behold, she is saved by the Ninja Turtles in the darkness. They destroy the one and only street lamp that illuminates that particular part of the alley, apparently. And for some reason, that means it's pitch black. That's not how outside works. You see, there's this thing. It's called moon, and it puts light down. But also, they're in New York City. There's lights everywhere, but it's somehow pitch black darkness when you turn out one freaking lamp, street lamp, apparently. And the Ninja Turtles take care of the foot, then they tie him up. But Raphael forgets his side, which leads to the line that every kid in the 90s went, "You could say that? Damn." Yeah, us kids in the 90s thought we were getting away with something. It's Ninja Turtles. He said bad word. Yeah, damn is really the only word they say in this. It's PG. So you get damn like 3 times, but it's 3 or 4 times, but it's like, damn, here later it's damn. And then you get Ninja Kick the damn rabbit. You know? Is the Butterfinger thing in this one, or is that the second one? I can still hear out of this one. I swear that's this one. And it during the Ninja Kick the damn rabbit thing, I think I don't know. But yeah. So then we get the classic Ninja Turtles theme. I know as a kid I remember being like, but that's not that theme song. But I now recognize that as the movie's theme song. I know now they couldn't legally use the cartoon theme. So you get introducing our turtles, and we have Raphael, who I think is voiced by Raymond Serra. You have Leonardo, voiced by Brian Toshi, who voices him in all 3 movies. Robbie Rist voices Michelangelo in all 3 movies. And I point that out because it was a few years ago, someone in a Ninja Turtle Facebook group that I'm in pointed out, he said, Robbie Rist is the only actor to do the voice for a turtle in all 3 movies. And I said, Brian Toshi was in all 3. And he was trying to tell me that Brian Toshi wasn't in the first one. It's the same voice in all 3 movies. Yes, it is. And of course, Donatello is voiced by Corey Feldman. That's right. Corey Feldman. Yes. In 1990s, Corey Feldman. So, after stuff like The Goonies, Dream a Little Dream, and License to Drive, but before Dream a Little Dream 2 and his drug problems. Maybe during his drug problems. Who knows? But yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood, that movie, which he is so obviously in the middle of his drug problems in that movie. Anyway. So, yes. And then we meet Master Splinter, played by the great Kevin Clash. And if you don't know who Kevin Clash is, this guy is a legend in puppeteering and voicing and doing maybe Muppets and legendarily Sesame Street, because he is Elmo. That's right. You look at Master Splinter and you look at him and you go, who is this guy? And someone tells you, oh, that's the voice of Elmo, and you go, you're like Beverly Hills Cop, get the fuck out of here. No, I could not, because this is true. Yeah. It absolutely is. Elmo, the voice of Elmo. Kevin Clash. Yes. Yeah, I need a drink. My water. My blue raspberry water. Excuse me. But yeah, Raphael laments the fact that he left his side. And Master Splinter says, well, then he's just gone. He goes, no, I can get it back. I can get it back. And basically he tells him, no, you have to leave it. And then we get the it's time for meditation. So Splinter starts to meditate, but then the other three turtles start to do the dancing to tequila, but they use ninjutsu. Ninjutsu, bump bump. It's kind of like meditating. Dun 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 dun. dun. Yeah. So Raphael takes off to go see a movie after he was just told basically not to go back up there. They allow him to go up to see a movie. And yeah. During I should point out during Splinter's speech, Michelangelo is ordering a pizza and we get the classic line. And no anchovies. I mean no anchovies. You anchovies and think you're in deep trouble. Splinter throws a book. Michelangelo! Clock's ticking, dude. So he ordered a pizza. No anchovies. So yeah. Yeah, and Splinter's speech is basically he says, "One day I will not be here, and you will be alone. You have to do things for yourself." Basically is what it is. And they kind of lament it a little bit. While Donnie and Michelangelo's waiting for his pizza, Donnie comes up and he's like, "Do you think, Splinter? Did you ever think about what Splinter said, about not being here?" And he's like, well, first when it starts, Pizza Guy's got 30 seconds. 30 seconds absolutely does not go by during this conversation. It's more like 10 to 15. He's like, time's up. $3 off. I don't know. He takes it the least serious, but when something else happens to Splinter, he probably takes it the hardest. Just saying. So, yeah. Well, Raphael has gone to see Critters in 1990. I can admit 1989, but Critters came out in 1984. So, or 86. In 1986. I'm thinking like Charlie in the third one. Came out in 1986. Why was it still playing in 1989 again? I can see maybe Critters 2, but it specifically says Critters. And I always like this line where Raphael comes out and he goes, "Where did they come up with this stuff?" And then we get one of the best scenes of this movie. When he catches the thugs stealing someone's purse, he chases after them. They're stopped by the one, the only, Casey Jones, played by Elias Koteas. I think I pronounced that right. I don't know. All right. School's in session. Your teacher's Casey Jones. And, yeah, he knocks him out, hits him with baseball bats or whatever, but then Raphael comes along and they have a bit of a fight. What are you, some sort of punker? I hate punkers, especially ones with green face paint and red bandanas that cover ugly faces. I like how he calls him Bogey. Kids wouldn't get that. Bogey? Because he's got the, like Humphrey Bogart. Right? But they have a fight. And they're like, Raphael wins 1-0. And yeah, he's with the baseball. Jose Canseco bet. Tell me you didn't pay money for this. It's 2-for-1 sale. And then he's like, okay, new sport. Cricket. Nobody understands cricket. You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. He hits him and he says, 6 runs. Okay, I don't understand cricket. How is 1 hit 6 runs? Bear in mind, you just hit him across the face. But, like, you hit a cricket ball or whatever you're hitting. 6 runs? Is that how it works? I don't know cricket. I assumed it's like a British version of baseball, but if 1 hit equals 6 runs. Sometimes 1 hit in American baseball doesn't equal 1 run. Come on, now. And he runs off. Raphael chases after him. And he gets hit by the taxi. And you get that line. What was that? It was like sort of a giant turtle in a trench coat. You go to LaGuardia, right? Like, it's New York. Who cares? Then you get another, damn. But yes. And then we see April's life. She's in her apartment. We meet Charles, who should have been Vern. I'm sorry. Vernon. He should have been Vernon. But he's not because he had a son. Vernon could have a son. I don't know. This kid didn't really need to be the character's son either. There is character development with that, but it could just be a random kid that connects to Splinter later. I don't know, but because none of those characters come back in the next one. But anyway, Kino. That was the guy I was thinking. Kino. Did that refresh my memory who it was? Ernie Reyes Jr. That's the stunt performer for Donatello. Or at least a stunt performer. Not, yeah. Anyway. And so we see Danny steal some money, which does come back in the end. But I still don't get that plot point in the end. He's like, trust me, I owe you this. But she didn't even notice it was gone. So... And, well, my man Vernon, or what's his name? Charles. Charles kind of tells her, hey, you need to back off, Chief Stearns, or it's not going to go right. She doesn't at all. She's an investigative reporter. But, yeah, he's checking on her what happened. I'm fine. I didn't get mugged. I'm fine. But, yeah, and then Charles and Danny get into an argument, and Danny runs off to go back to the Foot. And we see all the Foot Clan stuff with the, regular menthols and, yeah, all that stuff. It's there. You got the soundtrack. This is what we do. Go do it. Yeah, that song. I like that song. It's the first song on the soundtrack. It's just in the soundtrack all the time once YouTube became a thing. I haven't listened to it in a while, but I did listen to it quite a bit. But anyway, yeah, try to speed it up a little bit here. So the Foot come after her again in an alley this time. This is where we get the stunt performer for one of the turtles is there. I think not Raphael or something. No, it's gotta be Leonardo, right? Makes sense. But the turtles show up again, or Raphael shows up this time to get his side back, and no, we're in a subway tunnel, that's right, it's in the subway tunnel, and she goes, we've been waiting for you, Miss O'Neill. She's like, am I behind on my Sony payments again? Cute little black kid going, that's racist! Kinda is. Is that here or is that before? Whatever. But Donatello shows up and takes them out, and he escapes into the sewers with her. But we find out later that one of the Foot Clan members followed him. But, yeah. And here we get the backstory for the turtle after she wakes up and she explains, or Splinter explains what happened. He was a pet of his master Hamato Yoshi. And, we get backstory later. I'll just tell it all here. That, Yoshi was in love with a woman, and there was a man named Orokusaki who was also in love with her, and it was like forbidden love, and they fled with the rat Splinter to New York City, but Saki found them, killed the woman, and eventually Yoshi, and sliced off a part of one of Splinter's ears. He was left wandering the sewer when he found 4 turtles who had fallen in like a fishbowl. It's always a fishbowl, but turtles are in it. I don't know, terrarium, we're going to call it. And some green ooze that was there that mutated all of them. Yes. And in this version, I like the cartoon version where Splinter is just Hamato Yoshi turned into a rat. And that makes a lot more sense how he would know the ninjutsu moves. Where in this one, I was in my cage, copying my master's moves. Because a rat can do that, A regular rat. It's a little bit far-fetched, but that's what it is. It's better than, I found this book in a sewer, and I taught myself and the other turtles how to do it. Michael Bay. Yeah. I can't remember the origin in the new one, but it's something similar, right? Whatever. But in an old Renaissance book that Splinter found, he gave them all names. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael. All the cool ones start with O. Or I think that's the second one, but yeah. And yeah, so basically, no. So they take April home, and she lives above an antique store. And she's like, she's a little sketchy about them coming in. I do like this edit, because it's like, she's like, all I have for you is frozen pizza. They're like, huh? Even though they just had pizza earlier that night, but they want more pizza, that's fine. And she's nervous, and it cuts to her just laughing and having fun. Michelangelo does impressions. Ooh, you dirty rat, you killed my brother. Ooh. Cagney. Oh no, Cagney. I like the ones that he did in the coming out of the shells. Hey, I'm Michelangelo. I've been possessed by the spirit of Presley. You do anything you want, but stay off my show. I like that. And you don't have a cowman. I like those. But yeah, while they're gone, though, the Foot invaded. That they leave. You know, they go home and they find out the Foot invaded their base and took Splinter. Now, my question is, does Shredder know what rat this is? Because he knew that Yoshi had a rat. He knew he sliced off an ear. So if he can see this big rat missing part of one ear, kind of put two and two together, I guess, but he's questioning him, and then Danny gets close to him. Yeah. So April leaves the turtles in her apartment while she goes to work that day, because that works. And she pushes too many buttons with Chief Stearns. And I love how he calls Charles, and he picks up the phone. You tell me I control this! Just before he even says anything. Because she pushes too many buttons there. She does thank her attackers, especially one of them named Raphael. Raphael's like, I'm out of here! Fight. Kitchen. Yeah, like, and they have a fight, and then Raphael's like, I'm out of here! Because, I don't know. I don't remember why they get in a fight. They just do, because they have to. So he goes up to the roof to blow off some steam, Bennett. And then, I don't know the reference. Eventually April comes home and is like, hey, where's Raphael? Oh, he went out for a walk. And then the foot soldiers somehow find him on the roof, I guess, and he's fighting these foot soldiers, getting his butt handed to him. But Casey happens to see this and ends up going to help. Sort of. He doesn't show up until after they're already back in the apartment. They throw him through the roof, which means that her apartment is the only apartment in the building? It's just, I think she explains it's her parents' antique store and the apartment's just above it. So it's not a full apartment building, it's just her apartment. Because they throw Raphael through the goddamn skylight of the roof. Maybe there's more. I don't know. And he lands. And the other foot soldiers come in. We get to stand down. You know, you get, a fellow chucker, eh? And they have that showdown. The two nunchuckers. And chuckers, whatever. And they do a little bit. Then we have a big fight. And it ends up with them crashing into the antique store, causing a fire. Casey comes in to help them. And eventually, everyone's like, we gotta get out of here. Place is on fire. I know an escape from a trap door. So they get in there. Everyone leaves except for Casey. He's fighting the Foot. They're like, come on, let's go. And then Charles happens to call at this particular point and says, April, I'm sorry, but you're fired. Another comes as quite the blow. As then the answering machine falls, hits foot soldier in the head. And I love Casey's reply of, you can say that again, Chuck. So they leave the city, which is from the comics. They leave the city and they go to a farmhouse owned by April's family, which, if this happened today, the Foot would just get on a computer and go, okay, what's her assets? Found them. Any kind of assets that belong to her, they'd find. O'Neill, assets, found them. You know, but they have just done this here. They did it in the 2003 series, and the 2012 series. And I don't remember the 2003 version, but I do remember the 2012 one. They handled it pretty well. That was also a transition period because that ended season 2. And at the end of season 2, Jason Biggs left and Seth Green picked up the voice, or it's vice versa. I think Seth Green left and Jason Biggs picked up the voice of Leonardo. Whatever, either one. I just know Sean Astin was Raphael. Greg Sipes was Michelangelo, and they gave him a stupid catchphrase, Booyakasha, which my kid kept quoting, and I said, no, it's Cowabunga. And then after they met the original 87 Turtles, then they started saying Cowabunga. I guess it works. It was also a show that Krang was not just one singular person, but an alien race. They did work in the original Krang to that. But anyway, back to this. So now they're out in the country. Raphael was in a coma, I guess, and they're worried about Splinter. And so Leonardo is out meditating. We're going to skip a bunch of the nonsense. There's stuff like Donatello and Casey are calling each other names. You know, I always thought it should be Raphael, but Donatello is the one that connects with him, I guess. I don't know. Chrome Dome. I like that. But yeah. And also there's the will they won't they romantic sexual tension between Casey and April, because of course there is. And Leonardo's out meditating when he hears Splinter's voice and he tells them that Splinter is alive. Well, this is after Raphael has woken up from his coma and he's fine after a few days. He never leaves Raphael's side till he wakes up, and I always thought this was weird that April is just drawing pictures. It's only there so that later Danny can have one of them and the Shredder will find it. I noticed that this time. It's like, that's the only reason why she does that. There's no other reason for it. But anyway, so they go out to the woods to meditate, and they speak with Splinter. And it's here that Splinter's basically trying to say goodbye. It's probably going to be over. And you see Michelangelo, who I mentioned back in the earlier scene didn't seem anything fazed him about Splinter being gone. But now that the possibility is really there, he seems to be hit the hardest with it. Interesting. But they realize they have to go back to the city. So they do. And they go into the sewers, and Casey is a little bit skeptical of that. You're claustrophobic. And we get the line, I haven't even looked at another guy. Yeah, I'm not sure that line would pass now. No, it means you hate small enclosed spaces. What? Come on, I gotta take this. I'm gonna sleep in the van. Which is good, because then he sees the Foot coming in. And I got a question. Them going back to the same sewer den. You know the Foot knows that's where you live. If they get whiff of you being back, they're gonna go there. Well, they find Danny. And Danny has moldy pizza. It's only a couple days old, but if it's in the sewer, it's probably not gonna last long, you know. The sewer? A sewer. Happy Days. Laverne and Shirley. So then, you know, he's looking at her pictures and he's like, can I have one? And he gives her one of, she gives him the one of Leonardo just sitting there in the chair. Yeah. And so the Foot show up, and Casey sees it, and yeah, we have him. But Danny recruits Casey to go get Splinter because Shredder's going to kill him. So they go to recruit, and he's like, who are you? Casey Jones. A friend. So while the Turtles are taking care of the Foot, Casey and Danny are rescuing Splinter, but Tatsu who I haven't mentioned till now. He's Shredder's second in command. And a group of these hoodlums, basically. They're not even in costume. All the costume ones are with the turtles. And he's like... So Casey gets his ass kicked first, but then he finds a golf club, whacks Tatsu across the face, knocking him down. He goes, I'll never call golf a dull game again. You know, like... And then they won't let him go first. I'll let to use to the shredder. He's like, you're free. I'll let to use to the shredder. Really? Why? We're family. You call this here and that down there family? And they let him walk out. Because it's like, he's right. What are we doing but being hoodlums, you know? So they take care of the foot soldiers. I love being a turtle. And, you know, and have nice fight scenes. But it escalates when they get on the roof and the shredder shows up. And the turtles take turns getting their asses handed to them by the shredder. While Casey is down there just farting around with a garbage truck. But Splinter arrives and reveals that the shredder is in fact Orokusaki. He takes the mask off. Now I will finish what I started with your ear. And he comes at him with his spear thing, and Splinter just kind of uses Michelangelo's nunchucks, nunchuku, and kind of wrangles it and dangles him over the side. I just imagine, I don't know, I don't remember what I said, but he's like, for you, death will. And he tries to get him, but he lets go. Dishonorable. And he lands in the garbage truck, and Case goes, oops, and squishes him. Now, this is silly, but you gotta remember, this is also a PG movie for kids as well. It's dark, but it's also for kids. So the having the shredder go out like this makes sense. Right? Right. Thank you. So, yeah. Charles arrives and reunites with Dan. Yeah, Dan. And he talks April into getting her job back. Come on, you gotta come and get reporters, you gotta do all this. Well, I don't know, what's her face over at Channel 4? She has her own office. You have your own office. That's a corner office. And you got a corner office. She's also one of the highest paid reporters in this city. Now you are. Okay, I'll do it. And then Casey comes up. She goes, oh, hi. Hi. I look like I got run over. And I get a hi. Look, I'm busy. You gonna kiss me or what? So, yeah. So they kiss, and then you hear the turtles on the roof. Nobody else seems to hear them, but they're like, hey, all right, April. All right, Casey. And then we lead into they're trying to, there's a joke throughout the film where they're trying to come up with a catchphrase. Eclectic. Excellent. And here, the one catchphrase comes from Splinter. I have always liked Kawabunga. I made the funny Kawabunga. Yes. And then, which leads into the credits and Turtle power. Turtle power. Turtle power. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The only thing I'll point out about this song that is a bit of a nitpick, but I don't know who wrote it, but they're wrong. They talk about the Turtles, and they go, and one more left is Raphael. He's the leader of the group. No, he's not. And I guess I'm going to credit this to the Nostalgia Critic, because he points it out. Yeah, I don't know. They were given lyrics and they sang them. I don't know who wrote it, but he was wrong. As much as I would love Raphael to be the leader of the group, and much as he would love to be the leader of the group, we all know it's Leonardo, right? I'm just saying. And then, yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtle power. Right? Turtle power. Because they possessed turtle power. To the moon. It goes to the moon. What else can I say? It goes to the moon. This was a childhood favorite. It is fantastic. I said a lot about movies, but I grew up with this. And when I'm sitting here quoting the entire movie during the whole thing, I can't give it any higher praise than that, man. Come on. I mean, I'll probably quote the other ones, the other two. 3 does not go to the moon. Definitely not. I don't hate it as much as other people do. I can concede that the costumes are not as good, the production value is not as good. I mean, this was the Jim Henson Creature Workshop that did this. The first 2. And they did a pretty good job. But the stuff in the third one, they clearly didn't get the Jim Henson Workshop. I don't know. But they got Corey Feldman. We'll talk about that one later. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.